98. And I got to ask you, let's get right into it, bud. You've been watching the Michael Jordan thing, and any memories coming back?
Oh yeah, a lot of memories. Just watching that film just remind you how blessed you were to be with the Chicago Bulls, because Michael Jordan was a rock star. I mean, when people saw him, they were screaming his name and what have you, and it was pretty awesome. But I do remember this. When I first got there to Chicago, one of the things Michael said to me, he said, "Hey, Pee Wee, I promise you, we're gonna win your championship. I promise you." And so when we won the championship, he gets on national TV. He says, "I want to thank everybody from Corey Williams on down." he mentioned my name first, and here I am, the 12th man on the team. And Michael thought that it was important for everybody to recognize that I played an important role on that basketball team to help them win a championship. And of course, I used to wear all his Air Jordan stuff, so I got made fun of by the players, because I would wear his Air Jordan shoes, his warm-ups. He would order me that stuff when he ordered his stuff. So Mike took good care of me, and, it was a blessing and an opportunity of a lifetime to be able to play with the greatest player of all time.
And, of course, there's a little recap. You went in the second round to the Bulls back in 92, and then you played that 1 year, 92, 93, with the Bulls. And you won a ring, that's for sure.
Yep.
I think that was the third in a row, I think, championship that they had won there in Chicago. Was there an instant connection with Michael, or was this something you had to do to gain his favor, or what was the deal?
You know what? I think, for me, I was the only rookie, which was, at the time, which was good. I was the only rookie on the team. So, they hated me. I had to go get newspaper. I had to go get the car washed. I had to do some of everything. And every now and then, I would come down and they would have me at breakfast, and we would be eating. And then all of a sudden, they would get up and leave the check for me. And the thing that was good about me was, I was thrilled to be there. It was my hero on the basketball court, Michael Jordan. And so I took all that stuff with a smile. I never resisted it. So it didn't last very long for me because I took it very well. But, those guys really appreciated what I did, and they would take care of me. They would make sure, man, come on, Pee Wee, come with me. They would take care of my meals. They would buy all my meals, and they would take me with them. And they kind of took me up under their wing a little bit.
When you guys, and I don't really know how much NBA teams practice during the season, but obviously you practice against the stars, including Jordan. What was that like?
You know what? I got drafted as a defensive basketball player. That's one of my fortes at Oklahoma State University. I was a good defender. And I remember this one particular practice. We were running the pitch post offense, the triangle offense, and they threw the ball to the pitch post. And Michael had the ball, and I came by. He didn't see me. I stole it. And so he's chasing behind me, and I go up, and I dunk it. And all you hear is Stacey King and those guys like, "Ooh, Pee Wee, you in trouble. You in trouble." Because I dunked it, and Mike was behind, so it looked like he messed up on the play, and I got that dunk, and they knew that he was going to get me back. But thanks be to God, time passed by, he forgot about it. He had bigger fish to fry than me.
Yeah, but you can remember that one. See, you called it just exactly the way it happened, so you haven't forgotten too much about it. Hey,
that's exactly right.
You got to tell the story about Jerry. Jerry Krause comes along. In this documentary, is not he's the villain, the hero, the villain. He's back and forth. But what was it like working for a guy like that?
Well, those guys, they were at the time. I guess they were fed up with Jerry. They felt like they didn't give him a fair shake. They felt like he didn't appreciate what they did, and they felt like he thought that he was the sole reason why they was winning those championships. So I just remember how I got fired. Would I say an early retirement? Most people would say I got cut, but I say it was early retirement. We were playing the Detroit Pistons on a Friday night. And so this particular trip in the exhibition season, I took the championship bag with me, my championship bag. This is exhibition season. And so, unbeknownst to me, Jared Krause, he took his championship bag as well. So, the game is over with. Our bag's on the plane. We get ready to get off. I don't think twice. I grab the championship bag I see. I put it in my car. This is on a Friday. So Saturday we have off. Sunday we have off. And we're going to practice on Monday. Well, Friday night we get home. I usually just take my bag and throw it over to the side. So I do that. And back then I had a pager. So they had my pager number. And I can't remember if we still had a cell phone, but I had a pager. And we might have had one of those old cell phones. But during that time, on the weekend, I would just throw my pager to the side because I didn't need it. This was an opportunity for me to get a break. So that was on a Friday. So Saturday we off, Sunday we off, and I get to work on Monday. Well, someone comes to the locker room and says, "Hey, Corey, Jerry wants to see you." I said, "Oh, what is this all? Jerry wants to see me." So I go up to the office, and Jerry says, he's pissed. He says, "Why did you answer your phone this weekend?" I said, I put my phone to the side. He said, "I paid you. Why did you answer your page?" I said, "Jerry, usually after a trip, we got an off day. I throw it to the side. I don't worry about it." He said, "I was calling you all this weekend." He said, "Have you checked your bag?" I said, "No, I don't check my bag when I come home. I just throw it to the side." He said, "You got my bag." He said, "My heart medicine was in that bag." He said, "I could have died this weekend." And so I left the office saying, "You know what, Corey? Pee-wee, this looks like this the end of the road right here for you, buddy. You done messed up, and you messed up royally." And so, he's pissed, he's mad. And so when they got ready to release me, Phil, they're all in a circle, half circle. And Phil stands up and says, "Pee-wee, we decided to go in a different direction." So, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I shake everybody's hand. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm so grateful. It's been a blessing. I'm shaking everybody's hand. And I get to Jerry Krause. And, thank you for the opportunity. And all he said was, "You need to grow up." He said, "You need to grow up." That was my last words from Jerry Krause with the Chicago Bulls. So that's, my friend, how you get cut if you don't look and see what bag you get when you get off the plane. So always look and see and make sure you got your bag and not the GM's bag.
What was the high, other than playing around such greatness and being around greatness, and Jordan wasn't the only great player on that team, obviously. But what was it like? What do you take away from your time in Chicago?
Well, you got to understand, for me, coming out of college, Michael Jordan was it for me. I mean, that was the guy. That's the guy that every kid grew up trying to emulate. And, for me to be able to ride on the bus with him, to sit down and have those intimate conversations with him, and for him to offer me at different times, like we were playing pool, and he was trying to beat me in pool, and I kept beating. He kept saying, one more. And so we kept playing, and then after I beat him that last 6 times, he says, "Pee-wee, you want to go with me?" I said, "Where you going, Mike?" He said, "I'm going to the mall. They're going to close the mall down, and I'm going shopping." And here's a mistake I made. See, I never wanted to be a fan. I wanted to be a teammate. So I didn't take that opportunity to go with him shopping, which I regret to this day, because I know I could have got some mad gear, a lot of gear, a lot of clothes, and it wouldn't have hurt him a bit. And so, but I didn't take him up on that offer, but just being around him, watching how he worked. That documentary is saying a lot. I think Roy Williams said it this way. He said Michael was a guy that could turn it on and off, but he never turned it off. And he was like that in everything he did. When I was beating him in pool, all he kept saying was one more. He was not going to stop till he beat me. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get that opportunity because I was really good in pool.
What did you find? What could you tell us about Michael Jordan and you probably just did to some extent, that we didn't know, that we don't know, that we can't tell from a documentary, we can't tell from all the great games that he played? What could you tell us about him that we don't know?
Well, here's what I would tell you is, you know how athletic he is, how he shoots, and how he plays. But here's the thing about Michael Jordan. He had to do a lot of times before the game even started. It would be kids from the Make-A-Wish Foundation who weren't going to live. And he had to talk to those kids in the locker room, in the training room, really, as he's getting taped, and put his arms around them, and they're crying, and, this is their dream. They want to beat Michael Jordan before they die. But they die. And he was a part of making those kids' dreams a reality. And to see him do that behind the scene with no fanfare, nobody was around, and watch him how he loved on those kids, and those kids was just smiling from ear to ear, and it was the great Michael Jordan that they had touched and talked with. That's to me tells you a lot more about who he is as a person. And even the parts where he would stop by the parks, kids would be playing. He would stop by the park. No cameras around, nobody around, and he would have those guys to show him their report card. And they would show him his report card, and he would give them money. He'd say, good job, good job, good job. The stuff that doesn't get fanfare, the noise, people don't talk about. That's the stuff behind the scenes, watching how he interacts with people. Now, his life was just total, he never got a chance to really just be himself most of the time. That's why, when I was around, I just wanted to be his teammate. I didn't want to be a fan because all he wanted to do was sit down, have a beer with somebody, and just talk, and just enjoy himself without somebody asking for an autograph or taking a picture. He really wanted that normal part of his life, which he knew that he couldn't have, except when he got around his teammates, who just looked at him as Michael Jordan, and as not as a fan, but as a teammate.
Hey, Corey, Patrick Wheeler here. After watching the documentary, the first two episodes, I think a lot of us, especially in my younger generation, were pretty enthralled too with the story of Scottie Pippen. How much of a limelight was on Jordan too, but on Scottie Pippen at the same time with those two personalities on the team? Did that work out pretty well in practice behind closed doors as well as it did most of the time in games?
You know what? It did. Here's the deal. Scottie, he knew he was second. Now, for all the people that said, hey, man, Scottie was just as good. No, he wasn't just as good as Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, in practice, Phil would put Michael with the old guys like Bill Cartwright, John Paxson. Any of the old guys on the team, he would mix the team up that way to put Mike at a disadvantage. And he put all the young guys with Scottie. And guess who won? Michael Jordan won every single time. But Scottie understood how valuable Michael was to him because he allowed Scottie to be able to play a lot more freer because the attention was on Michael Jordan. And Scottie really respected him a whole lot. And he understood that Michael was the man. He used to call Michael Black Jesus. He would say, clear out and get a ball to Black Jesus. So that's how he understood who Michael and his value to that team was. So they had no issues, no conflict. Scottie knew who was going to take the last shot. He was going to feed off of Michael, and he was okay with that because Michael allowed him to be who he was. He allowed him to come in the league and develop as a player and ultimately become a superstar.
I'm going to take you back before we get you out of here to some practices, and I'm going to remind you about Corey. What are you doing? You know who that is.
Oh yeah.
How many times did you hear that?
Well,
how thrilled were you when you found out that he was finally inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Let me just say this. I've heard that a million times. Corey, slow down. I was so fast. He was like, you're going so fast, the ball is behind you. Slow down. And he would tell me that. And, consequently, I started slowing down and started learning how to use my speed at a different pace, and it allowed me to get drafted. But here's the deal. I always tell people we don't live in glass houses where we live in a glass house. We all have made mistakes in our life. We all have. Some have been exposed. Some are secret to our heart. We all have. But when it comes to coaching wins and losses, this man, he should have been in the Hall of Fame on the first try. And here's the other thing I would ask people. Yes, he made mistakes. Yes, we all have. The Bible even talks about it. We all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But here's the thing. Think about the lives that he changed from myself when I came in as a young boy from Macon, Georgia, how he developed me into the man I am today. For Desmond Mason, who came in and he was wild, didn't really know how to play, how coach made him into a better player. Or Big Country, who came from Gans, Oklahoma, who was this 7-foot kid who had a soft touch, but he didn't have all the other tools to go with it. So he coached us, but he made us men. And he had his own special way of showing his love to us as players. I am so honored to have played for him. And I tell people this all the time. He's the only coach in America who is as famous as he is that used to call and sing happy birthday to me on my birthday when he do that every birthday opportunity. And then he would always remind me, he would say, Corey, make sure you love that bride. Take care of your family. Make sure you love her. And that was important to him. We are thrilled. I was pumped. I text Sean and Steve and Scott and told them how excited I was for him. Sean called me and put me on speakerphone and had his dad right there. I yelled. I said, yes, sir. I said, I thought I was going to have to go down there and hurt somebody, Coach, but about time. And, we're thrilled for him because he has an important part of me in my development. He holds a very important part of me in my development, and I thank God that he was placed in my life because I turned out a decent young man because of the foundation he laid in my life as a basketball player.
I got to ask you, they treating you okay over there at Fayetteville?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to learn to woo pig through it. It took me a whole year to get it down pat.
But I bet you can do it with the best of them now. And I guess you're like everybody else. You're trying to get this work-from-home thing going on, and you never know when you're going to play. We can just hope for the best, right, that we'll get you back on the floor, right?
That's exactly right. I would say this. I've been home, and me and my wife, we still love each other, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you got that going for you, then things are going. And I'll add this as a private note, but I don't have to remind you. I think it's Friday. But my daughter, because you knew Tracy when you were growing up.
Yes, I did.
Tracy just turned 50, and so did you. You'll be turning 50 as well here in a couple of days, right?
In a couple of days, I'll be turning 50. You know what that means, son? That means I'm getting older. And,
yeah, but you're not as old as I am. You'll never be as old as I am. So
I will say this about you, man. You've been great to all of us. I mean, great. And when we were young, it's you being around and you encouraging us when we were young. It always says it takes a village to raise a kid, and you were part of that village that helped me become who I am today. And I you from the depths of my heart, my man.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. That's nice of you. We'll keep in touch with you, and when the video comes out, maybe we'll touch base with you a little bit later and see what you thought. But hey, good visiting as always, and we'll let you go and get back to that busy work that you got going on at home.
Well, I appreciate you. I'm always a cowboy. I love them cowboys.
Oh, you stay safe and your family as well, okay?
You too. Stay Tom.
All right, bud. That's Corey Williams. He's one of a kind. There's no question about that. And, we didn't get into this, Patrick, but as we look at the NFL draft coming up, he was the only player from Oklahoma State drafted in the 92 NFL draft.
Wow.
As a football player.
Yeah, as a football player, right?
With Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And he went to camp with them as a receiver.
It's incredible.
He was that good an athlete.
Yeah, Corey was an incredible athlete, and it shows too. I mean, he made his way into Chicago. The stories are incredible. I mean, you're getting it from and this time where everybody wants to know so much more about Michael Jordan and everything with the documentary, and he lived it, and it's really cool to hear him say, he was such a fan, but he had to do his best to remain a teammate. And I thought that was pretty interesting because imagine how would you feel if you were?
Starstruck.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be
That
tough,
was your
wouldn't
hero.
it? Yeah, it'd be tough to walk that line.
Corey's one of the more popular guys to ever play here.
Yeah.
And we got plenty of other stories we got into, but I appreciate him joining us here on Where Are They Now?